What was your "it can't be that easy" / "it was that easy" moment in your life? One time I tightened my gas cap and the check engine light went off. Those pesky small everbleaks. Had a car that developed an everbleak and turned out the fuel neck had rusted through right behind the body panel where the neck goes through. Got a salary request when applying for a job. Accidentally wrote double what I meant to write since the number keys were right next to each other. They accepted anyway. Edit. Well, that exploded. Fixing clogged drains. Started out because my sink drain plug wouldn't stay up. Poked around under the sink and found the pop-up rod had rusted completely through and broken. Cost me $5 for a new one at the plumbing supply store next to where I worked at the time. Took 5 minutes to figure out how to swap. And now I know how sink and shower drains come apart, which makes unclogging them simple. Maybe it's just me, but in my brain it seemed like that was something I'd have to call a plumber to come unclog. But it's all remarkably simple. One of the kids I babysit was going through a phase of "I want to be a baby again." Jealous of her sister. Weeks of gentle parenting and such. You know what worked? I was eating ice cream and she wanted some. I said babies don't get ice cream. That was it. She was done. Worked on an almost $5 million lighting rig for a concert as a junior guy on the job. We get it all plugged in and patched, but none of it would turn on. All the guys were freaking out trying to figure out why. The team collectively had about 150 years of experience. No one checked row C if the generators were turned on. I was like, no way, this is why, but I'll just go check if the generators are good. Flip stuff on and viola. Found a 60-inch TV by the dumpster. Plugged it in. Didn't turn on. Looked up common problems with the model number. Bought a part on eBay for $20. Replaced part. Had a huge TV. Actually doing the chore you put off for a few days. But I don't want to do my laundry. Doing laundry is the easy part. The folding and putting away part is thing I can't seem to do regularly. I had a loose hinge on my door. It kinda drove me crazy for 3 years. But I had no idea how to fix the wood that had been stripped. Then I found a product on Amazon for $10 where you shove on a sleeve, break it off, and then screw in the new screws. Bought 2 new hinges that don't squeak. Took about 10 minutes and cost $20 and it's no longer a problem. Edit. Product is called Screw It Again. About $10 for 10 of them on Amazon. Edit. Thank you for all the tips about using matches, golf tees, shims, etc. I never slept well. Ever. There's an over-the-counter magnesium supplement called Calm. I drink a cup every night and sleep like a hibernating bear. It was that easy. In college the professor advertised an internship and wrote the info on the board. Out of a class of 150 students, I was the only one to apply, and I fulfilled my internship requirement for graduation. Same sort of. I was one of 2 out of a large class that applied for an all expenses paid, except for food if we wanted to eat non-hotel food, internship where we went to Costa Rica to an animal sanctuary. On the flight he was like, you were the only 2 that applied. I was recently looking for an apartment, and rent in my city, like most cities currently, is outrageous, so after 3 days of looking I found this 2-bedroom apartment with a price that normally would get you a roach-infested 1-bedroom/studio shithole in a bad part of town. But these apartments look nice. They're in a good part of town. The reviews online are all positive. I can't figure out the catch. Then I see there is a year-long wait list for this place. But I decide to go to the leasing office, and after talking to the property manager, I get bumped to the top of the list for an apartment that becomes available next month. I keep waiting for the bottom to drop out. Most people spend months looking for places in my city and they'd be paying a third more than I'm paying at a minimum for a similar place. I looked for 3 days and found this place, but I think I just got lucky and it was just that easy. I started looking for a job last year and got 3 offers within 2 months, 2 of which were significantly higher pay. Made me realize I've been sitting around way too long. Interviewed for a job 2 years ago and things went great. They called me in for a second interview and to meet the president. I apologized, lied, telling them that job I was interviewing for had a maximum salary that was $8,000 less than what I'd just been offered by another company I worked with. They offered to match it. Suing someone in small claims. It was surprisingly easy because my case was rock solid and I had a professionally printed document of evidence, witness statements, and precise records sent over to the court, while the defendant did literally nothing but send unlabeled loose printouts of my Facebook page as her so-called evidence. It was a very quick judgment for plaintiff. Making my username. Complete opposite experience for me. I'm pretty happy with mine. Tying shoelaces. When I was a kid, no one ever managed to teach me how to tie my shoes. I remember never being able to get that last step that ties it all together, and in general I suck with knots. I would have been garbage in the Boy Scouts. I got into my early 20s relying mostly on Velcro shoes. But one day I sat down with a pair of new shoes determined to figure it out. I put one on and tied it correctly on the first try. I just sat there dumbfounded for a few minutes wondering how it had been that easy all along. Self-improvement and reflection. Stopped looking at outside factors in my life and started looking at what I could control. Weight, time, who I spent time with, etc. I didn't need to change my whole life in one day. I needed to make small progress. Spending one day less a week on gaming and one day a week on improving myself is better than not improving at all. Allowing myself to fail / with intent to improve is so much easier now that I don't spend time with negative people that demand perfection. When I started my ad medication, I never knew how life could be and how easy it was to just get up and do stuff. Changed my life for the better, and I've managed to turn so many things around. Can't believe it took me 18 years to get diagnosed. Drinking water. Went from having issues getting to sleep and then waking up grumpy and tired. Water has changed my life. Thought it would be super difficult to kick soda, but once I tried and didn't give him the benefits outweighed the taste. How much water do you drink per day? I have trouble sleeping, and I wonder if drinking more is a way to help that edit. I absolutely love the hydrohome talk that I apparently sparked. Truly wonderful and actually useful to note. Changing my bathroom faucet. I'm a 56-year-old woman that's never done any plumbing before. Turns out YouTube is a wealth of knowledge. It really wasn't that hard. I get joy every time I wash my hands knowing I did that. Edit. Thanks for all the awards. Kind strangers. Got a job that required full-time field work for minimal pay. On my first day they asked about other skills. I saw other people using AutoCAD, so I said I used it in college, but I was really rusty. This was a lie. I had only ever used it once to draw some circles. They were excited and got me a 4-day refresher class. I learned AutoCAD and haven't been in the field in over a year. I later asked for more pay since I wasn't a field tech anymore. They said no. I got another job using AutoCAD for double salary. Pro tip, learn AutoCAD C3D. It's not that hard, and boomers will think you're a tech god. In my late teens / early 20s I landed several good admin jobs that required a degree I didn't have. Turns out when they say bachelor's degree they just meant sound middle class on the phone. I have had a dozen software engineering jobs that required a degree. I have no degree, and did them well. Deciding to stop dealing with my life going in no direction. After leaving a career that I went to college for a decade prior, I had something in the back of my mind for a long time that I wanted to do. I finally couldn't take the feeling of being stuck, so I applied to a local community college to take some prerequisites and started class less than 2 weeks later. I'm pretty sure I cried once I did it because the relief of finally having some direction again and felt like a weight lifted off of me. I could literally feel the change in my body once I registered. Get into a bar fight. Some guy didn't like the way I looked. Never had said a word to the guy all night. He was about 15 feet away from me most of the night. I simply had to stop going to bars. There's always that guy, and for whatever reason, I'm usually their target. Lost 25 pounds and all I had to do was stop eating before bed. I've hated every job I've ever had. At 18 I joined the military for 6 years. That sucked the whole time. Then went into customer service at Walmart, and they were a bunch of assholes to everyone. Tried security and they were just degrading. Job after job doing what I thought was the right thing. I decided to apply for a local HVAC company just working call center. Nothing big. I think there are a total of 9 of us on phones. Honestly, it's the best job I've ever had. We all get along. Spend hours a day on our group chat sharing memes. Our management has one-on-one meetings every 2 weeks with the goal of this meeting is not work related, but we want to know just how you're doing. How's life treating you? What do you need? There's constant communication about expectations and how we can better meet them and how they can help us perform better. The majority of the company's profits are used to better employee lives. I get monthly commission and residuals and $30 a month healthcare with BCBS, along with monthly potlucks, paid lunches, competitive pay starting at $17 an hour. I haven't seen any turnover, literally none. My position was only hiring because too many people got promoted. Applying for my Irish passport. My dad was born there, so I'm a naturalized citizen. I hate paperwork, so avoided ever filling out my application. Turns out it takes 10 minutes online. My understanding is that grandkids can do the same. My dad's mom was born there, but refuses to share the birth certificate, and I stopped looking into it after that. Honestly, after being incredibly broke, I remember how easy everything suddenly seemed when I had money. Car broken? Get it fixed. Sick? Go to the doctor. Need a babysitter? Hire one. Money makes everything so much easier and less disruptive to life. I knew I'd made it when I put my bills on auto pay. The power steering failed on my Acura. My local Acura dealership wanted to charge me well over $1,000 to fix it. I bought a power steering pump off Amazon for $70 and found a YouTube video that explained how to fit it. I don't have any car maintenance experience, but it only took a couple of hours to do the job myself, and it worked like a charm. I was trying to activate Windows XP and 7 on an old computer a few years ago for giggles and software compatibility. I couldn't get them to accept my key because the servers were shut down. I tried calling the phone number they had listed, and it gave me a code for my Windows 1. I entered my key. It was super easy. Best of all, I didn't have to talk to a person. A robot took care of it all. In a bar on a work night, just for a couple of drinks with a mate. Briefly talked to a girl at the bar when I was ordering a drink. I left an hour later and said goodbye to her as I was walking out. She asked if she could come with me. I was like oh, I'm just going home. And she said yes, I know. Completely hit me out of the blue. I was like oh, right. Yeah, sure. You can absolutely come with me. I was sus and confused about it, but all went well. Turns out she had been stood up for a date and sat there for an hour or so by herself. And I was just in the right place and the right time. Edit due to the questions and the comments. We had a good time and good banter that night and the next morning. But no, we never saw each other again. She was mortified by the age difference. She was 28 years old and I was 21-year-old first year graduate at a finance firm. I knew you were young. But what kind of fucking 21-year-old wears a suit to a bar on a Thursday night was about the line. I think she clicked that things were off when she saw the supermarket shopping trolley in the living room. Flatmates doing who was still at uni. It was all in good faith though. Good times were had.